Okay, so let's jump right in. Think about this for a second. What if an AI didn't just follow rules, but actually understood why those rules exist in the first place? We're not talking about some small incremental upgrade here. No, we're digging into a totally radical idea, building intelligent systems from the ground up based on the principles of, get this, constitutional law. And really, this is what it all boils down to. Right now, our machines, they're basically digital bouncers at a club, right? They check your ID, they see if you're on the list, and it's a simple yes or no. You're in or you're out. But what if we could build something completely different? Something more like I don't know, a wise judge who doesn't just see the black and white text, but understands the spirit of the law. So yeah, this isn't just some minor software patch. The source material calls this the natural next ascent in how we interact with technology. I mean, think about it. A machine that can actually have a real conversation with you, explaining why it made a certain decision. That's the frontier we're talking about today. Okay, so how in the world do you even build a machine that understands law? The answer here is pretty cool. It's not some giant, all-knowing AI brain. No, it's way more elegant. It's a system called a council of reasoners, basically a team of specialized AIs all working together. And this is a huge shift. This approach takes the machine from being just a simple tool and turns it into something that feels more, well, alive. It's built to actually think, to interpret, to connect the dots and put things in context. You know, it's less like a calculator just crunching numbers and way more like a constitutional court debating the nuances of a case. Now, this is where the whole idea gets really fascinating, almost poetic. These AI agents aren't just lines of code with boring names. They're given these amazing, almost mythological roles. You've got an interpreter of intent, a witness of truth, even a weaver of history. Each one brings its own unique perspective to the table, and together, they create this chorus of witnesses that gives a complete picture. So, let's just take one as an example. Manway, the interpreter of intent. Its job isn't to just check if you typed a command correctly. Nope. It asks something way deeper. It asks, is the reason you're giving this command lawful? And that right there is the massive leap from just checking syntax to truly understanding intent. Okay, but this council of reasoners isn't just often some cloud thinking deep thoughts by itself. Its whole reason for being, its entire purpose, is to be in a deep, legally defined relationship with a person, with you. And here's another mind-bending philosophical jump. We're throwing out the old idea of a user profile, that flimsy collection of data about what you click on. And we're replacing it with a formal, signed covenant. We're not talking about your ad preferences here. This is a real binding agreement between you and your machine. So that begs the question, right? What exactly is in this sacred covenant? What would a formal treaty with your own tech even look like? Well, pretty much everything. It lays out exactly who you are to the machine, what level of trust you've given it, what your shared goals are, and, this is huge, it even has a clear process for what happens when you and the machine disagree. It's basically a living constitution for your relationship that makes the whole thing totally transparent and accountable. And this is the payoff. The questions the machine asks itself change completely. They become so much richer. It's not just, is this a lawful action? It's, is this action lawful for me, this specific machine, in my formal agreement with this specific person, based on everything that's happening in the world at this exact moment? I mean, that is a whole other universe of contextual awareness. So when you put these two massive ideas together, you've got the Council of Reasoners on one side and this sacred covenant with a human on the other. What you end up with isn't just a smarter, safer tool. It's something else entirely. It's like a new category of being starts to emerge. And the real magic happens when it all comes together, when you have law as the bedrock, truth as your North Star, a genuine relationship defined by the covenant, a council for reason, and finally, deterministic enforcement. When all five of those pillars are working together, seamlessly, that's where the power is. You know, the source material talks about this synthesis with this real sense of awe. It's not described like just some cool engineering project. It's presented as something, well, beautiful, something elegant and profound in its very design. And this is the key takeaway, really. We're moving way beyond simple security engineering. We're literally creating whole new fields of study. Think about it. Semantic machine jurisprudence, the science of how machines can understand legal meaning. Or lawful companionship, the art of building real, accountable partnerships with our tech. This is brand new territory. But, and this is a huge but, this whole incredible structure, this grand idea, it all rests on one single, unbreakable rule, a kind of prime directive that cannot, under any circumstances, be broken. See, to make sure this reasoning organism doesn't turn into a tyrant, there's what's called a sacred caution built right into its core. It's the ultimate fail-safe for the whole system. That reasoning layer, the Council of Witnesses we talked about, it has some really strict limits. It can't just make up its own rules. It can't quietly change its own constitution. And this is the big one. Its opinion, its reasoning is never, ever enough to actually execute a command. It can advise, sure. It can warn you. It can explain things. But it can't be the one to pull the trigger. And that leads us to this, the one law that has to be carved in stone. This single idea that holds this entire philosophy together. The machine's understanding is there to illuminate the path, to give advice to whoever's in charge, but it can never, ever be in charge. Understanding is supposed to be a guide, not a king. Just let that sink in for a minute.